this perception, and it's kind of a stigma, and it's just perhaps only my perception of individuals have approached me for various things, pampered chef party, consulting, Mary Kay, this, that, and the other. And I have this perception of these individuals that I didn't want to have that same association or have any of, my friends or customers or anything else perceive me that way. And it seems to me that a vast majority of them either don't believe in the product they sell, they're not knowledgeable in the product that they sell, they don't really hear you, they're pushing a product, and when you say no, they still don't hear that, they just keep pushing. And so, they call it all hours of the night, irrespective of your time, there's no appreciation for that, and I get really turned off by that pushiness. It's a salesmanship, not a profession. But I'll give you credit with the video that I saw. It seems like the approach that your group or what have you is taking is a lot more professional based than what my past experiences have been.
I'm sorry for the
for
the fire truck that's driving into my living room here. If you could just restate what you just said.
Well, yeah, the website, it just seemed that approach was a lot more professional. It seemed more thought out, like there had been some integrity behind what you guys were seeking to do instead of the, 7 o'clock phone call right in the middle of dinner. It just seems to have more of a professional flavor to it.
You're talking about the movie itself.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. That's quite a compliment. If you don't mind, can I just not retaliating or anything like that, but just really more acknowledging your observation of something.
Okay.
On those things that you brought up, and you said them pretty quick, but I was trying to capture them all. A few of them were they don't believe you when you say no, they don't listen to you when you say no, they're too pushy, and they call it all hours of the day and night, not respecting your time.
Right.
All right. That isn't necessarily an industry.
Oh, I understand that. I do.
Right. Good. That's an individual's choice.
Absolutely. I believe that an individual has a responsibility to have the integrity to know, their discipline, to, prepare themselves and train themselves for it. And, it's a personal choice if they take that initiative or that they don't. And so, unfortunately, I think I've just been coincidentally the recipient of all of the individuals that don't. There's just a whole bevy of individuals that, I realize it's not an industry, and I've just probably been coincidentally subjected to the poor ones. But I have, and so because of that, I have this perception of them. And unfortunately, I didn't want to participate in something that might potentially give someone else the same perception of me in that manner.
Right. And if you called somebody at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning, and if you called somebody at 7 p.m. in the evening when they're having dinner, and if when you talk to somebody, you're not listening, you're, somewhere else or just saying, yeah, say what you're going to say so that I can say what I'm going to say.
Right.
If you do all those things, then you're going to basically be the same thing. And it's important to separate out and say, okay, which part of this is an industry issue and which part of these are individual issues. Those are people who, A, didn't receive training, B, didn't listen to the training.
Mm-hmm.
But the fundamental of the industry itself is it moves a product to the end consumer, right? So whether it's a vitamin or it's a kitchenware, whatever it is, it's a product moving to an end consumer.
Right.
How many commercials or advertisements in some kind of a way do you think you get in a day?
Hard to say. Some of them are subliminal, some are blatant.
Well, if you think audio, right, radio, TV, internet, signboards.
Obviously, an uneducated guess would be 50 to 100 a day.
Okay. And so if one of those is network marketing, view it in the total. In other words, a lot of times you think, oh, well, there's all these people. Well, all they're doing is trying to move a product to a consumer.
Mm-hmm.
Just like if you're listening to the radio and you're hearing something on the way to work, they are too.
Right.
So it's just another method.
Sure.
Now, when you get a customer, you're going to earn income from that particular customer for as long as they are your customer. Mm-hmm. And if the product is consumable, then you get to keep earning that. And so that's the reason people are out there trying to do it. It's just that they don't have a lot of technique when they're actually doing it. And so you would be different, correct?
God willing. And that's, I'll tell you, that's some concern as well, is because I know that I do have the integrity that when I'm going to approach something that I'm going to give it, all of the time and dedication that is necessary. So there's some trepidation about, one more pursuit, because this one more pursuit requires my time. It does require my dedication, and that seems so limited as it is. That obviously, looking in the long term, what am I gaining? Ultimately, will this provide me more and so forth? Yeah, probably would. It just feels so pressured with the limited time that I do have now, and everybody seems to need or want, more of it, and there's less there for you. There's that reservation. So.
Okay, good. Thank you for sharing that with me. And do you remember this little piece of paper that we divided into 3 parts?
Yeah.
Okay. Hard thing to get out of your head once you see that, by the way. And on the right-hand side, we had 8 hours of stuff. Right? Now, some of that stuff is important. But if what you do is you dedicate that block of 8 hours that you can do, let's say that you can carve out 2 hours in a day, to actually contribute to gaining you back more of the other 8 hours that you spend at work. And it's not, I'm not trying to demoralize or anything. I'm just saying that what that's going to do by you being there every single day is that it gives you the short-term benefit of having income, but not the long-term benefit of having your dreams and goals and financial security.
Right.
And so if you can take a block of that 8 hours on the right-hand side, work until you gain more of that 8 hours that you were working for somebody else. Now you've got 16 full hours that you can work towards creating your dreams and goals. At the immediate front, you see this is another thing to add to my already busy schedule. But the difference is this one is contributing towards long-term. And it didn't take me long. It took me 4 months to do that. 4 months in the total of things where I had been in the military for 10 years. So 10 years worth of effort, and then in 4 months I was able to create that same thing. Now, I'm not saying that you would or anything else. I'm not trying to give you any kind of promise. It's just that is where I gained back that middle block of time. Mm-hmm. And so that's the difference. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. I think to go inside with, not that I'm trying to provide you excuses for anything, but, aside from the time trepidation, there's always the trepidation as well as, is this the right decision for me? All the time I've invested in work and school and those types of things to get me where I am now, putting those aside and pursuing this, other venture, how much risk is it if I, fail miserably? Am I going to blow everything that I've done to date to get me where I am? Because you can't predict what's going to happen in the future, whether this decision is a good decision for you or not. There's some reservations there too.
Well, do you have the ability to look and decide what your future is going to hold? In other words, you might not be able to predict the next time the earthquake's going to hit California, but what you can predict is whether or not this would be a good logical avenue for you. Because what you have already determined, how long have you worked in project management?
Since I was 19, so 15 years.
15 years.
Yeah. I mean, in increments. I went through, obviously I was not always at this caliber, but...
Yeah. And if you're totally happy where you're at now, and looking forward, you say, you know what, within 5 years I'm going to be at this particular position, and that is my dream in life. Then I would say don't stop what you're doing.
Yeah.
But if you look at it right now and you go, wow, the best years of my life, I'm not spending the way I want to spend them. Mm-hmm. Because it is a fact that the older that you get, the less marketable that you are in terms of for society. And all you have to do is look at the people who are 65 and plus and look at the jobs that they occupy.
Yeah.
Right?
Walmart greeters?
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, Tim. The job I'm in is not my dream job. I mean, I fell into the type of work that I do, and I just happened to catch on, and I did okay. And, I'm sure you understand the whole scenario. Somebody saw that I did okay and gave me a little more work to do, a little harder and a little more difficulty, and I did okay at that. And so it's just been this natural progression. At some point in life, the lights went on and said, okay, well, I could make more money if I worked a little harder and acquired the credentials that it takes to get me to the next level. And so I did that, and I thought the time to